Hello, this is Bonnie Best, and this is part two of a series that I created. The first part was about how to get connected using Zoom, and today it's getting connected and using Zoom and doing some of the more advanced features, the advanced things I'd like you to know about. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to have my presentation up here. So get connected using Zoom part two. And today, I want to go beyond the basics. So once you've joined a meeting, I want to talk about how to participate effectively, some things to consider, how to turn your mute on and off. That's the volume and your speaking and the possible background noise. How to turn your video on and off, how to chat, how to share your screen and record the meeting. So that's what I want to cover today. A little refreshers. Let's say you have been invited. Someone invites you to join a Zoom meeting, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. You've been invited, and I'm going to show you an example of I was invited to a meeting, and it turns out that the one meeting I was invited to, I have been in different Zoom meetings, but this particular Zoom meeting invitation, the person who hosted and started the meeting set up waiting rooms. And then when I clicked on the link, join the Zoom meeting, I clicked on the link, then up pops this message says open Zoom meetings. Now again, this refresher from the first presentation I did, you do need to install Zoom. So this is assuming that you've already installed Zoom, and whether you've joined or not, it doesn't matter, but you have installed it on your computer. And today I'm using a PC laptop. So everything I'm going to show you today is the way it looks on my laptop, which is a Windows PC. If you're using a tablet or a phone, probably going to look a little different. Some of the concepts and principles are the same, but it may look different. Probably will. So when I clicked on open a Zoom meeting, I had a chance then to preview. I like to keep that on. I like to preview, how does it look? What's the background? Things to think about. If your background is too distracting, it may be difficult if you're part of a group for them to really concentrate on you and what you're saying. They're looking at your background. And if you want, you can join without video. If you join without video, all the group will see was a photo of you if that's what you've set up. You can set it up. And I have a friend who, she got creative, she and her husband, and they changed their background. I've had people change their background. That's a little more advanced. I'm not going to cover that today. So in this case, the Zoom meeting invitation was set up with a waiting room. And so I got this message that says, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. So I waited, she let me in, and I joined the meeting. Now this example that I'm going to use today, I took what I call screenshots of the meeting, and I changed the names. I took off their video and their pictures, and I changed their names because I did not get their permission for their names and their pictures to show up. So normally you would see pictures where you see the names Susan, James, and Alice. Normally you would either see a photo, or you would see their name, or you would see their video if they're doing by video. In this case, one of our participants did use a phone. So we have a phone over here. Now, when you first open up, there's no toolbar down here. In the lower left, it's all gray, dark gray. But I'm going to show you when you hover your mouse, when you move your mouse around and hover it over the bottom of the screen, up pops a toolbar. And it's this toolbar I want to talk about today. It's this toolbar that where you can, right now, my microphone is showing that it's doesn't have a line through it. So that's where you can mute yourself. And this is where I can stop the video if I choose to. You can turn your mute on and off. You can turn your video on and off. Over here on the right, because I clicked participants on the right, I'm seeing a list of who the participants are. Now the names have been changed to protect the people who were in the meeting. So these, Susan, I'm saying, was the host, James, Alice, and Jeff. So we had me and 5 of my friends. Now, if you choose to mute, and I had done that, when you click on the mute microphone, then what happens is you get a red line through the microphone, and even on my picture shows my name. I was doing video and shows my name, and it shows the little red microphone with a line through it. And over here on the right, you'll see also, I'm muted. The little microphone is red with a line. If it's gray, like these, then I'm actually listening to the host. I'm listening to James and the person on the phone. And then Alice had muted herself. So here's an example of I muted myself and Alice had muted herself. Down near the bottom of this participant list, when I clicked on reactions, it shows some things now that are available in Zoom where you can raise your hand. If it's a big group, people can raise their hand and let the host know they want to speak. And then there's questions, yes and no. So the host may ask a question or ask for a vote, and you can respond yes or no. You can ask for go slower, you can go faster. Here's also where you can mute me, and here's where you can invite somebody new. So those are some examples of how to use these choices on the toolbar. The toolbar only shows up when you hover your mouse near the bottom of the screen. Now, another one I want to talk about today is how to chat. So again, on the toolbar, when you hover your mouse and get the toolbar, you can click on chat, and what'll show up here on the right is the group chat. And again, the names are changed, but here Susan said she sent a message to everybody in the group. Good morning. Alice sent a message, James, and I sent a message. So we're all sending it to everyone. And that's the default. When you first open up chat, you're sending a message to everybody. But then maybe you want to just send a message privately to one person. To send a private message, down here where it says to everyone, when you click on that, what pops up is a little menu, and the menu shows the people who are participating. Again, the names have been changed, but Susan is the host, James, Alice, and Jeff. So let's say I want to send a message to Alice. I would go down there and click on everyone at the bottom, and then I would click on Alice, and then Alice sent me a message, and then I sent Alice a message. And you notice if someone sends a private message in red, it says privately. So rather than from me to everyone, from Alice to me, and then from me to Alice. And the important thing we've discovered, what we can sometimes forget to do, down at the bottom, it's now set to send a message to Alice. So now anything I type down here in the bottom where it says type the message, you type the message there, it's going to go only to Alice. If you want to go back to sending a message to everyone, you need to go back down there and click. In this case, I would click where Alice, her name Alice is there. I would click on that and I would click on everyone. So I can go back to sending a message to everyone. So that's how you chat. Now I want to talk about screen share. On the toolbar down at the bottom, when you hover your mouse, you'll get in green, it says share screen. And if you click that, what pops up says select a window or an application that you want to share. Now this will depend, it's going to look different at different times, and it's going to look different probably on your computer than on mine. It all depends on what tasks are active. In this case, I was doing a Zoom, I was capturing a screen, showing my Zoom session when I had stopped my video and all you see is a photograph. So that's a option. There's a whiteboard, there's an iPhone, iPad, and then I had a folder open that had different things in my folder. So it all depends on what's active on your computer. And today, rather than spending a lot of time showing you all the different possible things, I've learned from experience and my friends have learned from experience, sharing your screen can get a little complicated. Now, usually it's the host who shares their screen. They may want to show our PowerPoint like I'm doing, or they may show something else. They might want to go to the internet and show some things. If somebody who's participating in the meeting There are times when I'll have a one-on-one, I'll set it up for a one-on-one meeting, and I will often help people with using their computer or using Zoom or whatever. I'm a computer trainer, actually. I teach people how to use their computer. When I set up a one-on-one, I might ask the person I've invited, the participant in the meeting I started, I might ask them to share their screen. Now, if a participant is going to share the screen, the host needs to give permission for a person to share their screen. And if it's a big meeting, like 6 people, the host who started the meeting may not want everybody to share their screen, so it might be blocked. So you need to be aware. I learned this recently. A friend and I were having a one-on-one Zoom meeting, and I was going to share my screen, but I was a participant, she was the host, and it came up with a message saying I needed to ask permission, or the host needed to set up in advance. The host can say participants are allowed to share the meeting screen. So sharing the screen gets fairly complicated. I encourage you, if this is something you're going to be doing, I encourage you to find someone who can practice with you. Set it up so you can have a one-on-one meeting and go in and practice where you're not interfering or interrupting a group meeting. I will do this sometimes for people, is help them learn how to use sharing the screen. So that's something that you can do with a friend or relative, or if you want to contact me. Now, recording a meeting, again, is similar. There's an icon down in the toolbar. When you hover your mouse, you'll find a record button. Now, if I'm on a meeting, and this morning I was on a meeting with 19 people, my host, the host of the meeting, she was recording. But if I wanted to record the meeting, I clicked on record and I got this message. It says, please request recording permission from the meeting host. So like screen sharing, recording is something that can be blocked or the host can give permission. So with both screen sharing and recording, if you start the meeting, if you're the host, you can do screen sharing and you can do recording. However, if you're a participant, if you've been invited to a meeting and you're not the host, then you need to have permission, or perhaps the host of the meeting who started it could then make you a host, and then you can record or screen share. So again, I don't want to go into any more depth today on these options. These are things that you can get help. There are tutorials on Zoom. I help people learn how to do this. I've been in many, many Zoom meetings, and so I've had experience doing this. And so that's something that you can, in fact, request somebody to help you. So that's today's session. Today's presentation was Beyond the Basics. This is part 2. So covered how to participate, how to turn your mute on and off. And the reason you would turn mute on and off is if you've got a lot of background noise and you have many participants, it might be disruptive. And either you can mute yourself or the host can mute you if it's going to be better for everybody to have quiet. Oftentimes when they start a meeting, they'll mute everybody. The host will mute everybody in order to get the meeting started. I've talked about how to turn your video on and off. If you turn your video off, then you won't get a video like you're seeing me with my video. You'll perhaps get a picture or you'll just get their name. It all depends on how people set up their account when they join. I've shown you how to chat. I've talked about screen sharing, and I've talked about recording. So that's what I plan to cover today. I encourage you as you're moving forward. There's always more to learn. And as I say to my people when I start helping them, take it in baby steps. One step at a time, learn this, learn this, learn this. That's how I do it. I'm learning all the time, practicing, learning, and Zoom is changing. Zoom is different today than it was years ago when I started. So explore, and I encourage you to have fun with it. enjoy, lighten up, and learn to be like a child. So have fun.